Hello, welcome to the honest-wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm joined by Mr. Nathan Prescott, and we're going to be reviewing
Evening.
the Nighthaunt Battletome. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself. The Nighthaunt, 2022 Battletome. I know what you're saying to yourself. Oh, it's not out yet. It's not been released. Blah, blah, blah. Well, it was leaked, and if you don't believe me, I'm just going to quickly show you on screen. There it is. There's the leak. Of all of the different stuff. It does look like it was leaked by a lady, not to dob her in, or a gentleman with some very good nail routine. So, or just an MB. Shout out to my MBs as well. So as you can see, there it is. But instead of looking at it in this format, because what do I look like? Someone who gets a review copy early. No, I've turned it into a more digestible format for us. I've been very busy this weekend, so I need to shout out, before I do anything else, I need to shout out Mr. Colonel Cabbage for helping me write elements of this up. So I could get this done, because as you know, I was doing Blood Bowl coverage all weekend, Nathan, so I didn't really have much time. Spent the rest of the day doing it. So we're going to go through the book. Now, I've only just turned this all into like graphics and slides, so we can do a deep dive. There's going to be a more concise deep dive available on YouTube as a podcast later, but right now we're going to kind of just talk through it, see what our first thoughts are, because it's only just come out and been leaked, and then we'll just talk about some elements and see how we feel about it. All right, so what's in the book, Nathan? Do you know?
Ghosts.
Piss off, Ghost. Piss off, Ghost.
Packing full of dead ghosts.
Loads of ghosts.
Are they immortal? That is the question.
They. Thank you, Dr. Demento, for subscribing. It's a great question, Nathan. Ghosts in the mortal realms. How do they occur? Just let's get narrative. Let's start it off there.
Kill something, and then its essence gets robbed by Nagash.
Like kind of. So actually, in the mortal realms there are underworlds / heavens, for lack of a better word. The realm of death is actually just made up of dozens of different heavens. So if there's
afterlives,
afterlives, I think that's the right way of describing it. So like basically, if you have a culture in the mortal realms that kind of has like some traditions, and you make up some no, not make up, sorry.
If you believe.
Yeah, if you believe, sorry. Don't religions aren't made up. No. If you believe. Thanks, Bobbin, for donating £20. Yes! I'm getting a pizza! Anyway, if you're in the mortal realms, and oh my god, I'm so excited. If you have one of these beliefs, then there are heavens. Now, what happened was, thanks, Guy, also for donating £4.20. Yo, blaze it. What happens is...
It's going to be a special pizza.
Yeah, I know, I'm excited. But Nagash, way back in the day, Nathan, raged? Both. He waged a campaign.
Waged and raged.
Yeah, of conquest through the mortal realms, and took over all of the different...
afterlives. But they're all in the realm of death, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all there, but they're all conquered. Like generally, the Ocearch Bone Reapers and Nagash conquered them, and then but most of the ghosts are people that weren't able to enter these like heavens, basically, or these afterlives.
Oh, okay.
Because they're all like cursed, or like they're kind of the bad guys from their realms.
The ones that didn't make it to heaven.
Basically,
effectively, they're in hell.
Yes, and now they work for Nagash. Yeah, ghosts. Right, okay. Yeah, okay. So that's how it goes. That's the long and short of it. Okay. So what's in the book? Loads of ghosts, as Nathan talked about. There are battle traits, obviously. There are 4 sub-factions. 4. Oh. Now, this is actually really exciting because Nighthaunt have had sub-factions before, but they only got sub-factions like in the Broken Realms books, basically. Right. Because this is a book, the last Nighthaunt book was released at the beginning of Age of Sigmar 2, so over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So this is the first time it's had like a glow up from what was effectively an AOS 1 book, the Nighthaunt book, into an AOS 3 book. So it's kind of skipped a whole generation, Nathan. A bit like your hairline, because Joss has got a fucking great hairline. Like, that's going super well. Yeah,
he has.
Is he doing all right, by the way?
Yeah, seems to be doing fine.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Little bugger.
I know he is.
Yeah.
So 4 sub-factions, 27 war scrolls. Now, there's some crazy shit about that in a minute. We'll talk about it. 6 spells, 6 command traits, 11 artifacts, but no black coaches with the hero keyword.
Good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Otherwise, yeah. Got to keep speckles on the straight and narrow.
Thank you everyone for donating some cash. I just missed a gift donation, so I just want to say thank you for that. So no hero black coaches was a bit of a shame. And I think people should be pretty livid about it. Units, 27 war scrolls. Yeah. Now you got 4 battle line units. Four battle line units. 2 battle line if units. 15 leaders. 6 of those are named characters. 2 monsters and behemoths, which one being the black coach and one being the gash, and no faction terrain. Right, and 15 leaders is a lot out of 27 war scrolls, Nathan.
15 out of 27, so more than half of them are leaders, eh?
Yeah. Should have been 16 though, because if you remember the slide before, I was complaining. Should have been 16 with a hero black coach option.
Yeah.
So a lot of leaders. So if you like leaders. If you're like, oh, I love me a leader. Nathan, who's your favourite leader in history? Go. The problem is they're all problematic, so whoever you choose, you're a piece of shit.
My favourite leader in history.
Come on.
I can't think of any leaders in history. Right. Favourite leader in history.
Ooh, this is a toughie.
Yeah,
this is a toughie, right?
G-Slock. A leader. No, that guy didn't need anything.
You don't have to have one. It's fine.
No, I can't think of any. I'll go with Loban Gula.
Nice. Okay. I think I'm obviously going to go for fucking X. Malcolm X, sorry. But that's because obviously I just want to cause some rows so that I get loads more YouTube engagement. Please leave your comments in the YouTube comments. That'd be great. Anyway,
mine too. Any comments about mine? Put them in the comments, in the YouTube ones, and I'll peruse them later.
Have you ever looked at the YouTube comments in your life?
No.
Squigs McGee would love it if you did that. Thanks, Hugo, for donating £5 to the Pizza Fund. Oh, baby, I'm getting some garlic bread. Right, okay, so no faction terrain, which is great. They do have 3 endless spells, which you can purchase, and they're actually okay. One of them might be like giga-fucked. I kind of read the War Scroll and I was like, I need to talk about this because this might be too good, basically. 2 monsters and behemoths, so no like regular monsters. It's either Nagash or it's the Black Coach, and that's a behemoth, not monster keyword, but it is a totem. And then there are 6 named characters, so like there's just a lot of leaders, but a lot of the leaders are just like fucking nothing. They're not really worth it. Okay, anyway, so first impressions from me. Yeah. Very fast, pretty much. Hey, the guy that had to copy and paste how fast each unit moved and the armor save and the bravery was just like, I have done it in a minute. He must have been like, boop, 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 done the whole book.
They all do the same thing.
Well, it's either movement 8, pretty much, yeah, or movement like 10, 12, 14. So like it basically starts as 8, which is super fast.
Minimum is 8. Yeah, that is quick.
Yeah. Great in combat. Right, because of the buffs and abilities that we're going to see in a moment, right? Huge set of debuffs. Nathan, this is arguably a book where you could have a real shitty time playing against it.
Yeah.
But you're playing against ghosts, so like I know like if ghosts become like the meta, you know, if like ghosts are like 15% of the meta, and that kind of would make sense because there's a Partworks, which is a magazine subscription that you can get to get loads of like cheap Nighthaunt. The 2nd edition box sold loads, so there's loads of Nighthaunt on eBay. Gamak are a 3D design which do like a series of 3D designs for ghosts. There's loads of these available, so you could definitely field a very cheap Nighthaunt army. But if that's true,
and also everybody dies, so there's bound to be loads of ghosts.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Right. Yeah, you could just,
especially if in the mortal realms, it seems like they're always fighting about something.
Oh baby, they love a good fight, don't they? They don't love a good fight. So that means you've got the opportunity to dress unironically as a Ghostbuster at an event. Like, if you're telling me, if you're sat there at home right now watching this or listening to this, driving in the car, riding your bicycle, whatever you're doing, in the shower with Earl Frost and his missus, whatever you're doing, yeah, you're telling me you haven't at one point wanted to dress up as a Ghostbuster. I'm going to call you a fucking lying piece of shit because I don't believe you. Like, I've been waiting for an opportunity to dress as a Ghostbuster my entire life, my whole life.
Really?
Well,
What's the defining things of a Ghostbusters clothes? Is it
you
like
just get to wear a onesie, basically. You just get you get overalls.
Tan overalls, and you're in.
Tan overalls. You can just wear in town. Just people like, what you doing? Like, I've got pockets for days.
Busting ghosts.
Right. Right. So anyway, huge set of debuffs. Really problematic. Like, really problematic as we go through it. Great board control. Really fast. Loads of teleports. Loads of good stuff in there. Very themey. Very themey. I actually think this book is great. I went into it being like, I don't give a fuck about Nighthaunt. And then having just written them all out here, I actually think that they really got me. Like, I was like, yeah, I do want to scare that. Who are you scared of? Yeah, I do want to scare that unit. And then a good chance to cosplay as ghosts, which, because we haven't mentioned that in our reviews so far, but I think that we should probably review the ability to cosplay as an army.
Cosplay as, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's themey and good for cosplaying, then it's got to be a good narrative army. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So that's kind of my first impressions.
Very important.
Yeah. So that's that's my takeaway. But when we go through this, maybe my ideas will change. Okay, let's talk about the battle traits. Battle traits are what you get if you build an entire Nighthaunt army. You play 1,000 points, you play 2,000 points, doesn't matter. You get all of these battle traits and they're free. So it applies to your army all of the time. Okay? So I think there are 6, and it's quite a lot. So you got Aura of Dread. Okay?
Yeah.
Enemy units within 3 inches of Nighthaunt units are terrified. And this comes up a lot in the rules. Okay? Thanks, Mam Dare. Yes. Yes, Dayton. I mentioned you earlier on the show. Love you. Aura of Dread. Enemy units within 3 inches of Nighthaunt units are terrified. And this comes up loads. So keep remembering that. So if you're within 3 inches, so basically if you're in combat with a Nighthaunt unit, you're terrified.
You're terrified.
Yeah. Terrified units cannot issue or receive Inspiring Presence command ability.
Ooh.
Which is making it so that you ignore battle shock tests, basically. Yeah. Okay. So then that's pretty good, and it doesn't obviously affect Nighthaunt units. So your Nighthaunt units, which are all pretty much Bravery 10, like
are never terrified, but everybody else is terrified.
Yeah, and that's huge, right?
Yeah. So no Inspiring Presence. Wow.
That's a good start. Next up, they're ethereal. They've got a 6-up ward, is what ethereal means, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ethereal also means that you ignore modifiers to your save rolls. So if it's a 4-up save, Rend won't ever affect it. But you also can't give them a Mystic Shield. So it's just a 4-up save, which pretty much the whole book is a 4-up save, apart from Chain Rasp, which are a 5.
Cool.
Okay. And then for some reason, ethereal also means retreat and charge. Army-wide. The whole book. Every unit, retreat and charge.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I guess walls don't stop you. Wow.
No. You can't really get locked in combat with a ghost. Thanks, Grody Woty, for resubscribing. Right? Ethereal pizza. Oh, I love a pizza. Pretty damn juicy. So that's huge. That's already huge. So you've got a combat army, almost exclusively, that's super fast, charges in. It's got a 6-up ward, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and you've got retreat and charge. So you are never locking one of these units down, right? Okay?
Yeah.
And then they do weird stuff on the charge. I like how everyone's read the leaks and they're like, get to it, Rob. Stop feeding it us. Okay. Right, they've got... Nathan, they've got a Frightful Touch. I don't know if
Frightful Touch, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been touched by a ghost, but unmodified hits of 6...
Yeah.
Auto wound. It's no wound roll, not a choice, just happens and affects all Nighthaunt. So that's pretty important. That it's not a choice. Like you can't be like it can be an auto wound if you want. It does, basically.
Okay. So that means that they can't use like the curse ability or anything like that then.
No, because you can't have simultaneous effects.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't think they've got a priest anyway. Oh, they might have a
No.
priest. Oh, they might have a priest. Oh, I don't think they've got tons of totems.
Yeah.
Retreating charge doesn't matter until it does and makes you win the game in turn 5. So every unit is going to retreat and charge, and every unit, any 6s to hit, are going to be an auto wound.
Yeah,
Which
they're super mobile, aren't they?
super mobile, and then Nagash might be one, or was one, I don't know. Anyway, then you got the ability Vanishing Phantoms. Take up to 3 units off the battlefield and place them in reserve. Okay, so this happens after deployment. So you've deployed your army. Nathan, you and me are playing. You're playing Gits. I'm playing Nighthaunt. I've deployed my army. Then we're about to start, be like, cool, the round started, but I'm about to claim objectives. Because if you guys don't know, when you start playing Age of Sigmar, when the round starts, anything that you're on an objective, you already claim. So, if they're in your territory. So
if you're deployed on an objective.
Yeah. So before that step in the game, then you're able to take 3 units off the battlefield and then put them into reserve, which means put them off the board, and then you can deep strike them as normal, which is at the end of the movement phase. You put them anywhere on the board, 9 inches away from the enemy, and then normally an inch away from terrain is sometimes written in at the minute. But that's an army ability, Nathan. That's just any time. You don't have to, obviously, but you can just be like, I'm going to put those in deep strike now.
Suddenly ambush with 3 units, yeah?
And it's going to be super fucky to play against this army, because you deploy, they deploy, and then they lift off 3 units. You're like, oh, okay. And then they put them deep strike, and then the other units are fucking running and charging, retreating and charging if you get in a fight with them. So, pretty good, I think. And then you've got a command ability. So there's a command ability, which is army-wide command ability, like Ironjaws, which is Discorporate, which is they've got a 6-up ward normally. This allows a unit, when it's targeted in the shooting or combat phase, to have a 5-up ward.
Ah, okay. So you can make one of your units a 5-up.
Yeah.
Warder.
Yeah.
For a command point.
Yeah. In the shooting and the combat phase, so you can use it. You can use it all the time, right? Which is really
just
good.
for that phase.
Just for that phase, all out ghostly, which is pretty good, because it so that means that obviously they're going to be more defensive, which with their because they basically they don't have a ward save, because obviously their ethereal armor save doesn't stop mortal wounds, but it is a flat armor save, right, like a 4-up, and then they're going to have a 5-up ward on top, so they're as tanky as some plague bearers or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So far, a really great kit.
Yeah.
Really good kit. Also, the whole army flies, right? The whole army flies, because every unit has got the flight keyword. Yeah. Okay.
I would say that's a really good set of allegiance abilities. They've got to be super happy with those.
Dude, it's crazy. Retreat and charge all the time, every unit.
Yep.
That's going to be
and turning off inspiring presence and all of that. That's all really good. Huh?
We're not finished though, bud. And that's where it gets fucking wild, right? So we got the last battle trait is Wave of Terror. Okay?
Oh, okay, some more, yeah.
Yeah, so when a Nighthaunt unit finishes a charge move, pick one enemy unit within an inch. So, and this applies to every unit that charges. So if I've got 1 unit and it charges, I pick a unit. If I have 3 units that charge 1 unit, then all 3 effects will apply. And it can be the same effect 3 times. Okay? But does that make sense? So every time a Nighthaunt unit charges, it basically applies a debuff to 1 unit that it charged.
Right.
Okay? So you roll your attacks. So have I missed a battle trait? No, I haven't, have I? Oh, hold on. I'm sure I haven't. Or maybe I did. I hope I didn't. Anyway, so this is what it does. You roll 2d6, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a 2 to 3, nothing happens. Right. On a 4 to 7, it's -1 to hit. Right. So just your average charge. When I charge you, you're -1 to hit.
Right.
Yeah. And an 8 to 9, if you're on 8 to 9, it's -1 to their save.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And on a 10 plus, the fight last effect applies.
Huh. So,
go on.
Okay. So, and the more units you charge in, the more chances you have of rolling.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, you always roll, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's any charge roll. So if you roll above a 3, so you roll a 4+,
Oh,
you're gonna
is this your charge roll? So
yeah,
whatever you roll for your charge, this is what the effect
yes,
that you get. You don't roll again. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's obviously massive. Now you're allowed to drop down an effect. So let's say you do fight last. Your first charge is fight last, and then your next one is an 11-inch charge. So you're over the 10-up mark. Yeah. Then you can just be like, cool, I want to drop down to -1 save. So that's also built in.
Wow.
And you can retreat and charge army wide, Nath.
So you're just gonna charge all the time. Yeah.
All the time, right? Right. So it's great. Like, and then they can stack. The rules say they can stack. I've looked at this. They can stack, and also checked away with Charlie, who double checked for me. So that's good enough for me. Right. So you could be like, you could just get 3 9-inch charges and make someone -3 to save.
And just all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Could I?
It's insane. It's insane. Right? Like, even like a regular like -1 to save ability just for charging is great. So like, and because there isn't a lot of mortal wounds in this army, that's something to mention. This army doesn't do a lot of mortal wounds, and it doesn't have generally a lot of rend. So actually, well, yet we haven't finished. Like, before we get to the sub factions, it doesn't have a lot of rend. Okay, it's got some. Okay, but then we're not finished.
So on the units war scrolls, there's not a great deal of rend, but
we'll talk about that now. I mean, you could just have regular, because you can have a unit of chain rasps and let's say like a Dreadblade Harrow, who's a character. You could both end up with 2 9-inch charges, and those chain rasps have got like a lot of attacks. They've got kind of like a shitty amount of tons of attacks. You could both do 2 9-inch charges, do a double -1 to save, and have a 3-up armor save unit go straight to a 5-up armor save unit, just from the very fact that you've charged them. And then any 6s to hit auto wound. So like, it's pretty good. Anyway, so that the battle traits, that's all the battle traits, and they're pretty good, right?
Are those unmodified 6s?
Unmodified 6s, yeah.
Auto.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, right, sub-factions, okay? Okay, so let's talk about this next. I mean, it's great, right, Nath? The army will always be charging, always debuffing you, always hitting you, and you'll never be able to pin it down, right? So, just crazy. So then, sub-factions. So you got a couple of... Oh, hold on. I've written this... I've just made a bit of a mistake. Sorry, I've left... This is my iDeath one where I've accidentally left one on. So give me a moment. Oh, nice. Leviatons. Sorry, give me a second. Nathan, what do you think of this while I quickly amend this?
Well, I mean, so as a suite of allegiance abilities, those are really, really strong. Probably one of the strongest allegiance ability suites out there, I reckon.
I think from this edition...
Yeah, nearly as good as the Bad Moon one, I'd say. It's really good. You don't have to roll to get it. You just have it all the time. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's all the time. Like, but anyway, right. Thanks for covering me while I just fix that. Sorry, chat. Right. Okay. Back to it. Hold on. One sec. Right. So sub-factions, the Grieving Legion. So these are your 4 sub-factions. You got 4. No retreat from Grieving Legion units with 10 or more models. Just can't retreat.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good ability.
Yeah, that's really good. That's
especially as you can retreat and charge all over the place. Yeah, like very spooky. Yeah, so you're just there being scared, and don't forget, if you're in combat, you can't use Inspiring Presence, right? The Emerald Host is, now this is a bit janky. I'll try and explain it. After setup, but before the battle begins, pick D3 +1 enemy units on the battlefield. Okay. I've rolled a 2, so +1, 3 in total. At the end of each battle round, roll a die for each enemy, each picked unit on the battlefield. On a 2+, they take D3 mortal wounds +1 if it's a monster. So D3 +1 if it's a monster. Fuck. What?
They're just on a 2-up. They take D3 mortal wounds.
To every, to D3 plus 1. I mean, you could just get 2, but you could be all the way up to 4, right?
I mean, that's your little support heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just in trouble.
That's a lot. Like, this is really good. This is your sub faction ability, though, right? Like, so this is you're taking everything to have this as your sub faction, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I've seen some other sub faction abilities which maybe not as good as that. Yeah, cool. That's a great one. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy, right?
Well, they're both good. Yeah.
So it's every battle round, but it does mean by the end of battle round 2, you should have 4 support characters who have taken 2d3 mortal wounds, which is close to killing them in some cases.
Every battle round, yeah.
Well, you statistically, I guess you have 3. You have 3.
So when do you do it? Sorry, at the start of the.
So you pick at the end of each battle round, roll a dice.
Oh, end of the battle round.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's a bit like the mushroom that Scragrot shoots, but that's super. Yeah.
Right. So, so then you got the Quicksilver Dead. This is another subfaction. The Quicksilver Dead. No ward rolls against attacks made by Dread Scythe Harridans. Just no ward rolls. None.
Oh, okay.
So, and then this allows you to take Dread Scythe Harridans as your battle line unit.
Oh, maybe this is the one. If you've got Dread Scythe Harridans, you might want to take these. What are they called? Quicksilver. Ghost boys.
Yeah. Quicksilver. The Quicksilver Dead.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Like if you go into the right matchup, but obviously you don't have a lot of rend on those Dread Scythe Harridans, so that's a bit of an issue, I guess. Right?
Except for when you're making all those frickin' charges. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
That's true. Unless you're reducing their armor save down. Yeah, you're gonna end up with some moments, I think, with this book, with this playing with this army, which is really exciting, where all your charges and debuffs go off, and it just feels like your army is on pure crack. You're gonna be like,
just rinse whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even crack.
I just rolled 10 9-inch charges and just obliterated everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, and then finally the subfaction, the Scarlet Doom. Okay.
Scarlet Doom.
After Bladegeist Revenants make a charge move, so after Bladegeist Revenants, so in this, Bladegeist Revenants can be battle line. Okay? So after Bladegeist Revenants make a charge move, pick an enemy unit within an inch. Roll a dice equal to the number of models in the charging unit. So if I have 10, I roll 10 dice.
Okay.
If I've got 30, 30 dice. Yeah. And then on a 5-up, you take a mortal wound. So if I have a unit of 30 Bladegeist Revenants, then I just charge them, and then you're just going to take 10 mortal wounds just for me charging before I attack.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pretty tasty, yeah.
Pretty good.
The Bladegeist Revenants are the ones that we normally see, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I'll head down. We'll look at their war scroll in a minute if you want. Let me go find it. I've got to go through fucking tons of stuff. 1 second.
No. It's fine.
No. It's okay. It's good. I've done it all, so it's fine. It's not. I haven't put this in order. So, Bladegeist Revenants, they move 8 inches. They fly, obviously. They come in units of 10, and they're 175 points each. And they're an elite unit, which means you can give command abilities to itself. Doesn't need a hero to do it. Okay?
Okay.
They're 1 wound with a 4-up armor save. Don't forget, they get a 6-up ward because they're a Nighthaunt dude. They've got 2 attacks each. 3s and 3s. Rend 1. Damage 1. But if they've charged, they get +1 attack on the turn that they charge. So you end up with, even a unit of 10 will end up with 30 attacks, and then you'll do 3 or 4 mortal wounds on the charge, which is pretty good. Like, if you have a unit of 30, you'll have a shit ton of attacks. Like a shit ton.
You just smash your way through everything, yeah.
Yeah, they will. Let me just quickly change the overlay a little bit, Nath, because I've fucked up a tiny bit, so...
okay. Fair enough. No, they're the ones that you see normally. Like people normally had a unit of them at least, and then they were the ones that they used to bring back on a 4-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the issue was.
So yes, people own these then.
Yeah, but like the people in the chat are saying, 32 mil bases and only 1 inch range is genuinely really the issue. Yeah, but
Because, and again, just for people who are like, why the hell is 1-inch range an issue? Because you can't reach over a 32 mil base. So if you have like a line of 10 and a line of 10, you won't be able to attack from the second rank, and that's genuinely the problem. Okay, all right, let's go back. Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah,
boop.
but I mean, they make up for it. They sound like they get loads of attacks anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, and Dayton in the chat said he's just bought himself 90. So seems like that might be the go-to for some people. Okay, let's talk about the command traits. Okay, so this is what you can give your Generalissimo, like as one command trait. You can only have one command trait in your army. So you've got Lingering Spirit. You've got a 4+ ward save against mortal wounds. Probably won't take that. You've got Terrifying Entity, which is the Aura of Dread. Yeah, which is what stops you taking those command abilities. It goes up to 6 inches. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Because before it was 3 inches, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ruler of the Spectral Hosts is once per battle at the end of the movement phase, pick a destroyed summonable unit, and on a 4+, you get a new unit with half the models. So it's a once per battle ability.
And it's on a 4-up.
And it's on a 4-up. Yeah.
So that's for the narrative players.
Yeah, exactly. Is that us?
Come on, lads.
Right.
That's us, yeah. We're going to do that together.
Yeah. Then you got Hatred of Living. So reroll hits and wound rolls in melee versus non-death units.
What?
Yeah, reroll hit and wound rolls. This Hatred of the Living, this is on a hero, and you genuinely, don't forget it's a command trait, and it's not. Yeah. Like, it's whatever. Like, the heroes are there's no, like...
There's no big choppy heroes.
No. And if people are wondering what we mean by big choppy heroes, we mean like a Sludge Raker, I guess, is kind of a good non-name character that's quite fighty, right?
Or a Maw Crusher would love that, but yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. The colouring is just left over because I was just quickly putting this together earlier. It's not finished for presentation, sorry. Spiteful Spirit, at the end of the combat phase, if you took damage that was not negated, roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic. Each 4+ does a mortal wound to every enemy unit within 6 inches, which is kind of okay, but again. And then you got Cloaked in Shadow. Cannot be picked as the target of shooting or combat by more than 1 unit per phase.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
I guess
if you want to keep a dude alive, I don't know how important the heroes are now, but they used to be very important.
I think like they're still important, but I think just because you don't have like, if the Black Coach obviously was like a hero, you know, when you've got like a hero on a mount, those command traits tend to generally make stuff like quite good. And I guess like Dayton says, like maybe it makes situationally the Warlord, Slay the Warlord, you know, someone's like, I'm going to do Slay the Warlord, and then they've got long strikes, they only do it once or something. But it's per phase. Per phase doesn't even count. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe if you're using it to build a tanky character, I'm not really sure. I don't genuinely like many of them. I think I like the Aura of Dread being 6 inches more than like anything, but probably you'll still just see Masters of Magic, which is a core rulebook command trait that'll be taken more than anything. Right, so command traits. So that's command traits done. Now you got artifacts. Okay, so you got Relics of the Underworld and Weapons of the Damned. Relics of the Underworld are the Cloak of Waxing Moon, which is -1 attack for units that target the bearer in combat. It's okay. That's pretty good. If you want to again make a tanky character. Pendant of the Fellwind, which is a 3-inch aura of -1 to wound. Which is pretty good.
3-inch aura, -1 to wound. Yeah, it's quite small. Is it units wholly within, or just models within, or?
I think it's just units, but it might be models. I'll have to go back and double check. Midnight Tome, wizard only. Once per battle, auto cast an endless spell with a 12 that cannot be unbound. Now, I actually think that this one is actually really, really good because some of the endless spells are crazy. One of them, I think, if I read it right. And I quite like this. In fact, maybe a good opportunity for us to go look at the endless spells.
Yeah. I mean, okay. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, so once per battle, auto cast an endless spell with a 12 that cannot be modified or unbound. Okay?
Right.
So let's go look at these endless spells. Right? So you got 3. You got the Sheesh Reaper, the Mortalis Terminus X, Terminexus, and the Vault of Souls. Right? Now, the Sheesh Reaper is cast on 6. It's got a range of 6, moves 8 inches. It does D3 mortal wounds if it beat unit's armor saves. I don't care about this one, if I'm honest. I don't think this is the one you're talking about. And you got the Mortalis Terminus X, which is cast on 6, range 12 inches, moves 8 inches. And at the end of the movement phase, you choose one of 2 things, right? And this is really good, right?
Okay.
You reverse time, and you heal each unit within 6 inches D3 wounds, which is quite good for an army that's got a ward save, a good armor save, and there's some other healing in here, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got hasten time, which is each unit within 6 inches takes D3 mortal wounds on a 2+. So if you're taking that sub faction that was doing mortal wounds, you could potentially like, because there's a teleport spell, I haven't mentioned that yet. You could do a teleport, you could throw that in. Yeah, Emerald Host, thank you. You could teleport, throw that in, and just start stacking those D3 mortal wounds, which I think would be quite interesting. Like, I don't hate that idea. I think that's quite fun. I like that. And there's the Vault of Souls, and I'm going to go and get the actual wording on Vault of Souls because it's a little bit complicated and convoluted. So it's cast on 6. It's got a range of 6 inches, and it moves 8. Okay.
Okay.
It does AoE mortal damage, but it can spike super high. Right, so let's go look at it. Let's go find it right now and give it a proper read, so you guys can read it with me and we can see what we think. Although this isn't working now. 1 second, chat. Sorry, Nath. Sorry, this is the problem. We're dealing with Imager. What are you thinking so far?
Yeah. I mean, in general, people have toned down artifacts and command abilities a bit on the newer tomes, so I think they're not useless though. They've got some uses, and just the general battle traits just more than make up for it anyway. So it doesn't matter. You could just give them all a teaspoon and an old shoe, and you'd be fine.
Yeah, 100%. So 3 grots in a trench coat in the chat. Great name. It said Deep Strike plus Mortalis Terminus X in Emerald Host by Miss Alinda. So Lady Alinda lifting the veil is pretty nasty, and I definitely agree. I think also potentially putting the black coach in as well to try and do some AoE damage. There's definitely like some drop a bunch of mortal wounds on a bunch of different stuff kind of build.
Yeah.
And it still comes in at fairly cheap points wise. It's not like you're committing your whole army to do it. It's just in addition, which I think is nice. Right, the Vault of Souls is after the endless spell has moved, you roll a dice for each model within 6 inches of it. So each model, yeah?
Yeah.
Add 1 to the roll if that model's unit is terrified. So if they're within 3 inches of a Nighthaunt unit. Okay. On a 6, that model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So on a 5 or a 6, basically, you do that, but maybe on a 6. Keep track of the number of mortal wounds caused by this endless spell. So you're just going to do 1 mortal wound to each unit, okay?
Yeah.
If the total is 10 or more at the end of any phase, roll a dice for each unit within 6 inches of this endless spell, and you add 1 to the roll if that unit is terrified. Yeah? And then basically, a 1 is a fail, but anything else is d6 plus 1 mortal wounds. The unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the roll, and then this endless spell is dispelled. So basically, if you can power it up, is what I'm saying, in an enemy army, then every unit within 6 inches is going to take d6 plus 1 mortal wounds. But a 1 is a fail. It's a really weird way of saying it, but basically a 1's a fail. And I don't think it's very good, but I think you could potentially have a fucking great time with that, trying to make it work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Against some armies, especially if they are terrified, because then they're just not taking any. They're not going to be able to inspire presence.
Exactly.
Presence them.
Exactly.
So just gonna build up.
Especially, I mean, it's only cast on a 6, and taking a command trait to definitely make that happen probably is not what you're going to do. But if you're someone who wants to build some fun little combos or do some sort of crazy weird stuff, like, I think that's really fun. So I really like that. So anyway, that's the command traits. Okay, so back to, the artifacts. So Weapons of the Damned, you've got Shadow's Edge. Unmodified wound rolls of 6 do D3 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. And as my good note taker has pointed out, Frightful Touch auto wounds on a 6 is to hit. So it's kind of weird. Like, your core allegiance ability is like 6 is to hit, you auto wound, which means you would skip the step where 6 is to wound, do D3 mortal wounds.
Trying to roll the 6s to wound, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of odd.
Yeah.
And then you've got Reaper of Sorrows. Okay, before attacking, okay, Nathan, this is one you're going to enjoy. Before attacking, roll 2d6 against the enemy bravery. Okay, so what is a unit of gits?
Bravery 4.
Okay, so 2d6. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you beat it, then you get Rend 3.
That's fine.
Right, but don't forget this is an artifact, right? So it has to go on a hero. Okay.
Yeah, and we've already said they're not the fightiest of.
They're okay.
fellows.
They're okay.
They're all right.
Yeah. But if the unit is terrified, then it becomes Rend 4.
Yeah.
Okay. However,
Rend 3 was enough.
However, because you're obviously in combat,
yeah.
Like
they are terrified.
They're always terrified, right? Unless
never they're not. So why is that a sentence there then?
Well, it's in case you're playing against Nighthaunt, but then you can't modify their save anyway with Rend. I don't know why it's there, right? So, and it doesn't matter against Nighthaunt anyway, so it's always Rend 4. I know, it's just weird. Anyways, that's the Reaper of Sorrows, which would make for some great memes. So I like the idea of doing Reaper of Sorrows. I think that would be really fun. It's
Oh no, that's fair enough.
Yeah. And then you got Slitter. Before piling in,
try your hardest to try and manufacture a Rend 3 attack out instead of a Rend 4.
Exactly.
How can I do this?
Right, so Slitter, before piling in, pick a model within 1 inch and auto-slay if you were higher than the wound characteristic. Only works the first time you attack each turn. So, not terrible. That's a little, like, especially on the units that can teleport. If you take yourself a Treadblade Harrow, it's a hero. Yeah, you nip it around, do some teleporting, do some charges, kill that support character, It's kind of a fun little idea. Again, doing it as a sniper. That's what I mean. It's just like there's just some real fun in there. Is what I'm trying to say. There will definitely be a competitive build, but there's also fun, like abilities to do fun shit.
And you can pick models out with that.
Yeah, of course.
As well as units, so like standard bearers or breaking coherency or that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You got it, baby. Yeah, you got it. Right, so then there's some more artifacts, and weirdly, none of these artifacts, they're all just for Nighthaunt heroes. They're all in different sections, but like, I don't know. Anyway, so artifacts. You got Light Shard of the Harvest Moon. Once per battle, announced at the start of the combat phase, +1 attack to units wholly within 12 inches. You got the Beacon of Nagashazir, which is once per battle, in the hero phase, return 1 slain model to every summonable unit on the battlefield, which is actually really cool because it's stacked with Lady Alinda, and that's a really fun kind of thing, which we'll talk about in a bit. But that's only summonable units, so it's important to talk about.
And that's once per battle.
That's once per battle. Also, the Light Shard of the Harvest Moon, once per battle, announced at the start of the combat phase, +1 attack to all units wholly within 12 inches.
Really good.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Really good. And then you got the Soulfire Ring, end of the combat, heal D6 if you killed something. This is kind of good if you wanted to build like a really fighty character, but again, not really certain. And then you got Covetous Familiar. If an enemy piles in within 3 inches, they take a mortal wound, which is really shit. And then you got the Witchlight Lantern, which is on a wizard only. Once per battle, you can cast 1 more spell, but can only cast a spell they don't know from the lore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
That's fun, isn't it? Like, yeah. Like that's
so you've just picked a new spell from the lore to cast. What is it? Once per battle only?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit shitter.
Well, it's still interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, right. Let's quickly go look at the spell lore because we haven't talked about that yet. Okay, so you've got 6 spells in this spell lore, right?
Yeah,
so and they're all
good.
Yeah. So you've got the most important one, Spectral Tether, is the easiest one to cast. It's you cast on a 4 and you teleport Deep Strike. So it's the caster themselves teleports. So basically, wherever they are on the board, you remove them, you put them into Deep Strike, which means you drop them on the board 9 inches away from the enemy and sometimes an inch away from terrain pieces. And obviously, you cannot move after. but it's a hero phase teleport, which is cool because that sets you up some big combos. So being able to teleport Nagash. Can Nagash take it? Probably, because it's only Nighthaunt wizards. He probably can't take it. I can't remember how it works with Nagash, nor give a fuck. Someone will tell me in the chat. But it means you can like take a Linda, teleport her, do some endless spell shenanigans if you want, or whatever else the fuck. And I think that's a really fun spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nagash can take it. So if you want, you could teleport Nagash, do 7 arcane bolts, yeah, and then go for the big charge. So fun, I think. So that Spectral Tether is going to be really important, and I think you'll see that in a lot of lists.
Yeah.
Shade Mist is cast on a 6. Friendly Nighthaunt units holier than 12 inches get -1 to be wounded.
Oh, that's quite a strong one. Yeah.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially this one, I think.
Wholly within. Sorry.
Wholly within 12 inches.
Within 12. Wow. Yeah, that is good.
I think this is going to be particularly good because you're going to get the Arcane Tome Shade Mist combo on a support unit that wasn't meant to be a wizard, if you know what I mean. Which, again, Arcane Tome is something you can take from the core rulebook, makes a unit that wasn't a wizard, and then they can take a spell. Although, obviously, actually, rules as written, you can't actually then select a spell, but that doesn't matter. Then you got Seal of Sheesh, which is cast on a 5. Friendly Nighthaunt units holier than 12 inches get a 5-up ward until the next hero phase. A friendly Nighthaunt unit, one friendly Nighthaunt unit, holier than 12 inches, get a 5-up ward till the next hero phase. And don't forget, you've got a command ability to also make another Nighthaunt unit have a 5-up ward, which is pretty good. Yeah.
That's a good spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one
been useful.
They've all been useful. Life Stealer is not that good. It's fine. Enemy unit within 12 inches takes D3 mortal wounds, and the caster heals whatever wasn't negated. So whatever you didn't save with a ward save or something. So let's say you do 3 mortal wounds and you save 2, you would only heal 1. You're probably not going to put that in your list because you aren't going to like hope to get wounded to do D3 mortal wounds. And then you've got Spirit Drain, which is cast on 7. Enemy unit within 18 inches, roll a dice for each model in the unit, and the 6 is a mortal wound. So it's a bit of a horde clearing spell, which is quite good on an army that makes you then not be able to battle shock, not Inspiring Presence, which is good.
Yeah.
And then Soul Cage, cast on 7, and enemy unit within 12 inches fights last.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Like that one's really good.
Yeah, that's super useful.
Yeah. So good set of spells. So most importantly, a teleport, a -1 to wound bubble, a 5-up ward spell, which is really good, and then a horde, and then a fight last spell. So you've got lots of options already. But you can charge, make someone fight last as well. So you've got double fight last. You've got minuses to hit, minuses to save. They've got retreat and charge. So as a toolkit, super good.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah, I think, one of the strongest sets of Allegiance abilities with a nice spell lore and decent enough command abilities and, command traits and artifacts, so yeah. Well, I think them ghosty lads going to be quite happy with all of that.
I agree. I think the other kind of thing to talk about, is that it's a nice glow up, but a lot of the abilities refer to kind of the being terrified ability. And I always thought Nighthaunt were way slower than an army of fast ghosts should be. And I think like a lot of those sets of rules that they were given, their toolkit as we call it, have been really good for letting us know that but pinning this army down is going to be literally like fucking catching a ghost. It's gonna be it's gonna be super annoying to play, especially when they roll those big charges. But if you're a Nighthaunt player, you're gonna be having a whale of a time. Thank you for the jokes. That's great.
A whale of a time.
A whale of a time.
Right. I think they're gonna be very strong in their turns, aren't they? Because they're gonna have loads of movement and be able to dictate a lot in their turn.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some other armies, like the Fire Slayers and them, they can still do stuff in your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have very, very destructive turns.
Yeah, they are. They are. Right, so let's talk about the War Scrolls. That's going to be the kind of key to take away. Now, I've got Big Nagash on the screen. I didn't even have these rules right on the screen, and that's mainly because, like, don't give a fuck about Nagash. Like, I get that people like Nagash, and that's cool. Like, I really do. But I feel like these god monsters, especially... I mean, I don't even really want the god monsters in the game, if I'm honest with you, Nathan. I think it becomes a bit like fucking monster trucks. And I get it. I get there's a lot of us, like I'm going to be dressed as a dragon in 2 weeks. Yeah, I get it. Like, some of us aren't the smartest, and I'm in that group. But I reckon, like, if you're playing Nighthaunt, you don't play it for Nagash. You should play it for the Nighthaunt dudes. Does that make sense? Or you're a Nagash player. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're going to see Nagash in some competitive builds. There's probably some janky stuff that you can do with him, with some of those spells and some of the other stuff he brings. But, yeah.
I also like monster trucks, by the way. I just think monster trucks are monster trucks. You go to monster trucks, right? You go to WWE wrestling, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like that where you have those two robot things and you bash them together.
Yeah,
Rock'em Sock'em.
Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah, so it becomes a bit like that, I guess. But yeah, well, like playing with Sons of Behemoth.
Yeah. So anyway, Big Bad Nagash, I'm not even going to bother talking about. Yeah, and I'll deep dive that another time. Like, that's a whole thing on how to do a Nagash list. Okay, so let's talk about the actual leader of the faction, Lady Olinda. Ooh. So obviously she's a named character, so she can't take command traits and artifacts. She moves 8 inches, like most of the army does, Nathan. Has fly, like most of the army does. I'm probably not going to mention fly ever again for the rest of the show. Yeah,
they all fly, apparently.
They all fly. 340 points, is a level 2 caster, so you can cast 2 spells, unbind 2 spells, and is a war master, so it will always count as the general, which means the ability to do command abilities extends out to 18 inches, which is what generals are able to do. Okay, yeah. 7 wounds with a 4-up armor save, which you can't rend. I shouldn't have to mention that again in the show. So you can't rend the armor save, so it's always going to be a 4, unless you've obviously got an ability to change the armor kit save characteristic. And then a 4-up ward. So 7 wounds with a 4-up ward. Basically, 4-up armor save, 4-up ward, which I think is pretty good. Comes in at the stonking price of 340 points.
Okay. That's a fair chunk.
But the 7 wounds, I feel, is an issue. I really do. But we'll talk about what she has. She's got 4 attacks in combat, which is the 2-inch reach, which are 3s and 3s, Rend 2, damage 2. So kind of okay in a fight. Not terrible.
Yeah.
Rend 2 is nice. 6 attacks from the kind of handmaidens, which are 4s and 4s, Rend 1, damage 1. So 10 attacks, like not really a fighting character, basically. But we'll do okay.
Yeah. Still, yeah, exactly. Still take out small units and stuff with that.
Yeah. So this is where it gets really interesting. So once per battle, she has an ability. Once per battle, she can return D6 models to all summonable units on the battlefield.
Oh, on the whole battlefield.
On the whole battlefield, right? Now, some of the keywords are cut off in the photos, but if things like Spirit Hosts are still summonable, if it's D6 models, like, you've got a fucking tricky play there.
So it's once per battle in your hero phase?
Yeah, in your hero phase. In your hero phase.
Not in the hero phase. So it can't be like if your opponent... Oh, okay, I was just thinking for if they choose broken ranks, but fair enough. No.
So, thanks, Dayton. So let's say you have, like, I don't know, 3 units of Hex Race running around and they're all down to 1. You can get D6 back. So it kind of like massively, and it's all summonable units, which is all units apart from characters and the coach. So it super encourages you in some way to MSU, which also plays in so nicely with your charges. Because, you have, because you just get, like, Spirit Hosts would be crazy. You just took shit tons of Spirit Hosts, right? Yeah. And then, like, you get them all down to, like, 1 tray left, and then you just fucking bring them back. It's like, because I was like, why is she 340 points? And then when you read that, you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck is she doing for 340 points? But that's nuts. That's great.
Yeah, it's a good little ability, that is. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's so really good. Summonable. I did it. Right. So then she's got a 5-up aura that stops command abilities being issued from enemy units. So not to, but from. So if you try to issue a And this is also an interesting thing about the book, Nathan. Lots of the
What's
ability.
the size of that aura? Sorry?
12 inches, but it's not wholly within.
So 12-inch aura.
Yeah.
And you can't issue command abilities.
And you can't issue command abilities if you're in that aura.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Sorry. No. It's not. No. Sorry. You do have to roll a dice on a 5-up.
Oh, it's on a 5-up. You can't.
It's on a 5-up. Sorry, yeah. Like it's literally on the screen.
On a 5-up, you can't, or do you have to roll the 5-up to be able?
No.
to?
So basically, this is the interaction how it would work. I've got a character within, or even just a unit champ within 12 inches of Lady Alinda. I try to do a command ability. Let's say Unleash Hell, right? Bosh. Yeah. She rolls a 5-up. I lose the command point, and the effect doesn't happen.
Whoa. Okay. Cheeky.
Yeah. Pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that's nuts.
That's quite nice in defense of that is, yeah.
Yeah, and the CP is considered to be spent, right? Like, and I think that's really good. Like, that's good. It's going to be situational. That 5-up isn't all the time, but like I say, there's going to be some turns when you're playing with your Nighthaunt, and you're going to be like, "This is really fun." Your opponent's going to be like, "This sucks ass." And then you got the shooting phase. She's got an ability where she lifts her veil. Remember when she used to lift her veil? She still does it, which is D6 mortal wounds, basically. +1 if the unit is terrified. It's on a 2-up, I think. But +1 if it's terrified. And if any models were slain, she heals D3 wounds as well, which really adds to her tankiness.
Oh, yeah. And she can do that every shooting phase, can't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then she's got her own spell, which is cast on 7 and is range 18 inches, which is -1 to hit an enemy unit, right? And +1 to hit it. So an enemy unit is -1 to hit.
Yeah.
And then you get...
You get all out attack against them, basically.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, I think
she's good.
Probably,
I think she's good.
Yeah, she is. She's worth her points, isn't she? 340.
I think so.
I reckon. Yeah.
7
wounds with a 4-up ward save.
Yeah. Like I think like it's the fact that the aura is nice, like the shooting phase mortal wounds is nice, the fact that she's a 2-cast wizard is nice. She heals. She's definitely like up there, but the fact that she has that once per battle return D6 models, and it's not a command ability, it's just like just going to happen one time.
It's just an ability, yeah.
Is just dummy good. Dummy thick, dummy good. Yeah. She also counts as a general for the aura, that's right. So yeah, just hot stuff, right? It's not a command ability, is it? The once per battle, is it command ability? That can't be true. Otherwise, it's dumb. I need to double check, Nathan. Sorry. Pretty certain it's just an ability. Because this is something worth checking. This is why we're reading it, because otherwise me and the chap just come up with a great combo. I don't think it is a command ability. No, it's not. No rest for the wicked. No.
Oh,
that's good. That's good, because we haven't talked about the Dreadblade Harrow yet, Nathan. It gets pretty nuts after that. Right, Reikenor the Grim Hailer. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet fucking model, bro. Like, so cool. This close to getting one. This most.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it moves. Cool. So he moves 14 inches because he's on a flying dead horse. He's fly. Don't mention it again. He's a hero. He's 190 points, and he's a 1-cast wizard. Right? He's got 7 wounds with a 4-up save. He's got the 6-up ward save, obviously, for being Nighthaunt.
Yeah.
Now, in combat, he's got 5 attacks with a 2-inch reach, which are 3s and 3s, Ren 3 damage 2. So really,
nice.
really
quite
punchy.
Fighty, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got the horse has got 3 attacks, 4s and 4s that are no Ren damage 1. Okay. Yeah. Now, in the hero phase, he can choose for a unit in 12 inches to suffer a mortal wound, an enemy unit, or, right, he can suffer that mortal wound himself on his 7 wounds. And if an enemy unit suffers the mortal wound, he gets +1 to cast. But if he suffers the mortal wound, he gets +3 to cast.
What? Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
And considering he's really mobile, if you want that -1 to wound aura, he feels like a really good a really good candidate. And apparently, Nathan, he doesn't have Ren 3, he's got Ren 2. So thanks, chat. That's just me writing things down a little bit. I haven't had a chance to. I've literally just finished this before the show started.
Yeah.
So.
Ren 2 is pretty good, and then obviously there's a chance that it counts as Ren 3 anyway, with all those minuses to save and stuff that could happen from long charges. So.
Yeah. So really good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. He has got -1 to he's got +1 to hit and wound versus a priest or a wizard.
Oh yeah.
+1 to hit and wound versus a priest or a wizard. I also needs changing because I've brought up priest of wizard, which sounds great. And he's got his spell. Yeah, is a range of 12 inches, which does D3 mortal wounds, and if any models in that unit were slain, it does another D3 mortal wounds, which is kind of okay. It's cast on 7, but it's pretty shit, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, situationally fine, but whatever.
Yeah, so he might be casting one out of the spell lore then. Like you said, that -1 to wound bubble or something like that.
Yeah. Especially, he's 190 points, super fun, great miniature. Like, you've got some really fun stuff there. That +3 to cast is cool for taking the mortal wound. And, you can go priest or monster hunting, which is fun. And you can't negate the wound that he does. Right, so now Kurdos. I actually kind of gutted for Kurdos, Nath, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think he's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I just think, he came in the start, like, he's like, oh, you're wave 1, baby, right? Now, but I think he's still got one of the funnest rules, but anyway, we'll talk about it. He's got 7 wounds, 4 up save, bravery 10, right? It's 210 points for Kurdos, but he moves 10 inches. He's got 5 attacks, which are 3s and 3s, Ren 3, and flat 3 damage.
Nice. Oh, he's also pretty choppy, yeah?
Yeah, that might... I think that's right. Yeah. And then he's got 6 attacks from the handlers, 4s and 4s, Rend 1, damage 1. So he's quite fighty, because he's he's the king, right? Yeah, he's the Craven King, Alinda is the queen, right? Now, the fun thing that he has on his war scroll, but this is the bit that I kind of think's a bit disappointing, if we just go look at the imager for a second, just so I can show you guys. Like, he's like the second name character in this book. Like, he's kind of a big deal, and he has 1 war scroll ability. And I'm like, wow, okay. Anyway, I still think it's a great book. I just think that was a bit sad. But his one ability is really fun, which is at the start of each battle round. So when you get your command points, you and your opponent, on a 5-up, you steal their CP. So they lose 1, you gain a CP. And if he's within 3 inches of an enemy hero, it happens on a 4+.
Cool.
Right? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, probably unlikely that he's that close to heroes, but still.
Yeah. So I don't hate
He's
Kurdos.
not wizard then. Yeah, he's not wizard or anything.
Nope.
No.
210 points for like a kind of fighty character that steals CP.
Yeah, I think the other guy was better, personally.
Raikonor, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool.
But it doesn't matter, Nathan, because now we're into the fucking meat and taters of the show, right?
Nice.
Right. This is Allrak, the Drowner.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the boat. And so do you remember from I think it was Adepticon, they showcased a new Nighthaunt miniature. So
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So this is the dude in the boat. Yeah.
Dude in the boat.
The new dude, new boat.
Yeah.
Old boat.
Now this guy,
old dead dude in
this guy is a pimp, right? Because now I don't know if it's going to make it into competitive lists, but we're talking about fun. Yeah. This is super fun, right? And he also has got an incredibly powerful, as being pointed out, powerful ore, Nathan. He's got a strong ore, okay?
Strong ore, yeah.
So he's 175 points, and this is, like I've been really positive about this book so far. Like, so I just want everyone to know that. But this is definitely like, hey, buy this new miniature. We've definitely pointed him way cheaper than he should be. If you compare him...
So he's cheaper than the last two, the king and the dude on the horse.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Norbert and Wraith, both resubscribing, you fucking cuties. Thanks. I think he's great. He's 175 points. He's a totem, so you can do command abilities from 18 inches.
Yeah.
Right, super good. 7 wounds, right, 4 up save, right? Okay, moves 10 inches, right? So he's got 4 attacks, 3 with a 3-inch range, I'm pretty certain, with his ore.
4 attacks at 3 inch range, yeah.
Got good reach, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long haul.
And it's 3s and 3s, Ren 2, D3 damage. And he does fly. He does fly, yeah. Right? So that's pretty good.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Not far off what the other lads are doing, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now, this is his command ability. I'm pretty certain it doesn't say not holy. I'm going to double check this in a minute. So, in fact, let me go check the command. This guy now, Nathan, because this is kind of important for what he does. What he does in game. You can use this command ability to start your movement phase. If you do so, you pick one friendly Nighthaunt unit on the battlefield that is visible to this unit. Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't say where. Like, there's no range. Just anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only stipulation.
It's just
You've got to
got
see
a loud voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You got to see it.
And well, he's got to be able to see them.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a stair or something, yeah?
Yeah. So first you remove this unit from the battlefield. So lift up your boy in the boat. Yeah. And then you drop him 9 inches away from any units. So you deep strike him. Making sense?
Okay.
Okay, good. Right?
Yeah.
Then you remove that friendly Nighthaunt unit that he stared at from across the battle. He's like, oh, I see you. Hearken to you. Then remove that friendly Nighthaunt unit from the battlefield and set it up again, wholly within 12 inches. Oh, that is right. It is wholly within. Thanks, chat. Yeah? And more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. So he has to be within 12 inches of the boatman. But you can literally get one guy from anywhere across the seas and then just pick him up and just put him with this guy.
And pull them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you both go somewhere.
How good is that?
That is. And it's just an ability. It's a command ability.
It's a command ability, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, so you spending a command point. Still, that's super, super strong. And when in the hero phase?
Sorry, say that again?
Or in the movement?
You do that in the... Oh, sorry, our internet's being a bit dodge. I can't hack you. Use command ability at the start of your movement phase, bruv. Nathan, my friend? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Am
I coming through?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you astounded?
That's super. Yeah. That's...
Oh, no. It's so good. It's broken his internet. That's what it's done. I'll take a minute. Chat. It's fine. We'll wait till he comes back. He'll be Nathan. Talk to me whenever you think you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Right. Okay. So we're not finished with that. Nathan, you back, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. That's
He's not. This is quite an important review.
not back.
Oh yeah, actually, no. There's someone who's pointed out something really good in the chat. Thanks, Dr. Mouse. It is a command ability, Nathan. So actually, it's not board wide. So I've got that wrong because obviously it's a command ability, so it has generic range. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So
Did you say he was a totem?
He is a totem, so it's 18 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sound.
yeah. Actually, 18 inches. So yeah, you're right. Thanks, chat, for picking up on me on that. I'm still getting used to that in this edition. That command ability has a generic range. I'm so used to.
Got a range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, what up, chat?
Yeah, but that's still great command ability.
Wait till we do the combo in a minute, Nathan, because it's gonna get fucking nuts. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So
we've worked out a combo.
Yeah,
Good.
we've worked out a combo. Also, this is important because he's on a boat, right? When he charges, he does D3 mortal wounds on a 2+ to a unit within 3 inches after the charge move, right? But if whatever mortal wounds he does, so let's say he does 3, you add it to his melee attacks. So his ore, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can get D3, so it can go up to 7 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 2 D3 damage.
Wow. He's great. He's cheaper than those other two lads.
He's cheaper than those other two lads.
And he's better.
And he's better. And he's newer. He's newer.
I mean, really, the most expensive guy was the shittest, the middle price guy was the middleist, and then this guy is the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. If any models were slain with this ability, add D3 to the attack's characteristics. So it's basically the same. Yeah, like, you basically can add D3, okay?
Cool.
Right? So you have to kill a model, right? So that's the boat. So the boat's great. Buy the boat. If the boat comes out, fucking get the boat, because you're going to be having the best time.
Yeah.
Right, I kind of want to skip a little bit, because there's a bunch of fucking dickhead models I don't want to talk about, but I want to talk about the Dreadblade Harrow, Nathan.
Yeah.
Right?
So another hero.
Another hero. But this is a generic hero, right? Yeah, I'm going to go back to the characters. Don't worry. I know there's some really great characters. I'll go back to them. Right? So move 12 inches, fly, obviously. Hero, 145 points. Okay, so 105 points to the Dreadblade Harrow. He's got 5 wounds with a 4-up save. Okay, whatever. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage 2. 2 attacks, whatever. Like, he's fine. He does some damage, but not a lot. Right, so at the end of the movement phase, they can teleport. So basically, the end of the movement phase, this guy can just fuck off and teleport and go into deep strike, and then just deep strike 9 inches away. So that's just on his war scroll, right? So that's not the war scroll spell the spell that we get for the lore for teleporting, and it's not the boat teleport. It's just another teleport.
New teleport.
Nor is it the 3 units at the start of the battle which you've taken off the board and you've put into teleport. Nor any of the units that you've run in charge, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but this is the one. So once per battle round, which I think is the first time we've seen this, but maybe not. And it's loads in this book. There's loads of once per battle round in this book. If your general issues a command, this unit can do the same command this phase for free to a Nighthaunt unit.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And what did the last guy do?
Oh. He can do that command ability, so he can teleport the dudes and then teleport them again, and then teleport.
And then this guy can teleport. You won't, if you play the Vice, you won't have a fucking clue what's happening. Yeah? Right? You're going to be like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Nobody has a clue what's going on anyway. But
how fun is that?
Get worse.
Oh my God. You're going to be everywhere. You're not going to know what the fuck is happening. You're going to be like, what is. It's going to be like playing KO, but they charge you and it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Love it. Love that guy. Love that guy. All right, let's talk about this. So that's super fun. And don't forget, so that Dreadblade Harrow is a generic character, so you're going to be able to repeat lots of the command abilities you've seen already. Also, don't forget, there's a command ability, a generic command ability, right, where you can give a 5-up ward to a unit, right?
Yes.
So I'm pretty certain that you can duplicate the command ability, I think, as I read it. Yeah? So that means, I'm pretty certain that means you can duplicate the command ability. So anyway, yeah. Really fun. Like, I don't know if the chat agree with me.
So you can do 2 5-up wards? That was a command ability as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? But if you make them the general, you'd be missing out on any command traits when you do this with Boat Dude. 100%. But it's just really fun. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. It's only when the general makes a command ability. Sorry. It's only if your general uses a command ability, Nathan. Right?
Yeah.
But like Owen is saying in the chat, and also well done to Owen and his team for winning that team event this weekend. It's once per battle if your general issues a command ability. So if you make the Boat Dude your general, you miss out on some stuff. But if you're making the Boat Dude your general, you're just there for fucking fun anyway, right? Alinda counts as a general, so that's going to work.
What was her command ability again?
She doesn't have one.
Oh, she doesn't have one. Okay.
But you're going to want the double. You're going to want the double 5-up ward, right? Because you choose one unit to have a 5-up ward, and you just pick another unit to have a 5-up ward.
Yeah, exactly. If you got Alinda as a general, then you can just make one of these people your general, so you can use that ability, man. You want to keep doing that. Yeah.
So that's once per battle round, though. So I don't think you can't stack it. Okay, so we're good. We're on loads more characters, Nath, but I'll just talk about them. I'm probably going to talk about lots of them now just because their ability and not their attacks, because it doesn't really matter. So you've got the Cruel Gas Cruciator, who's a totem, command ability 18 inches, nice. 150 points, so 150, not a wizard, right?
Yeah.
So this is this is fucking nuts, Nath. This is the Arcane Tome Master of Magic buff here. Terrified units, so units that are in combat with your army, within 12 inches. So if you have a Night Cruciator within 12 inches of a unit and they're in combat with your Nighthaunt dudes, then if the Nighthaunt unit near you, or any Nighthaunt units near you, are wholly within 12 inches. So I've got one unit of Nighthaunt dudes in a fight with a unit of Chaos Warriors, let's say. Yeah?
Okay.
Those Chaos Warriors are within 12 inches of my Night Cruciator, and my Nighthaunt guys are wholly within 12 inches of my Night Cruciator. That unit of Nighthaunt have the... that unit of Chaos Warriors have their damage reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. So it's basically Seraphon, but more steps.
With ghosts,
Yeah. Right? So that's pretty good. And it's any unit wholly within 12 inches, basically.
So any
Nighthaunt unit, wholly within 12 inches. Yeah.
So you don't just pick one, it's just any of them.
Yeah. Oh, apparently I've got to reread it. Right, you can stack it. Okay. All right, let's see what they say. Paired with Ethereal is bloody amazing. Yeah, Ethereal and a 5-up ward. It's nuts. So I'll read it again. If this unit is within 12 inches of any terrified units, which is what I just said, subtract 1 from the damage inflicted to a minimum of 1 by each successful attack that targets a Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit. So it is what I just said. Okay? Yeah. But what everyone in the chat's saying is, why didn't you take 2? Right? Okay. Which is fucking dumb. Yeah. But I think like a Beard Dragon saying it's 2 overkill. It's 150 points for this guy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, a lot of stuff is only damage. Yeah, like 2 or 3 anyway. So yeah.
But it's really good. It's really good against Iron Jaws. Like you take 2 units of 30. 2 units of 30 chain rasps. Yeah, your Iron Jaws Gore-Grunters charge in, and this guy's like, because then you give this guy the Arcane Tome, you give him the spell for the -1 to wound aura, so you're -1 to be wounded, and you're -1 damage against 2 units, and there's a Dreadblade Harrow next to him, against 2 units that have got a 5-up armor save, which you can't rend, and then a 5-up ward.
And a 5-up ward save,
Yeah. But yeah, you could just shoot the fuck out of him. That's also a really good tactic. Yeah, just shoot that guy to death. Yeah. All right, okay. So that's the Cruel Gas Cruciator. Then you got the Lord Executioner, right? Which is like whatever. He's just a really fighty dude, Nath. 5 attacks with damage 2. He's got a 5-up ward.
Excuse me for a sec. That Guinness is doing its tricks.
Yeah, Nathan. All right. Okay, this is a great opportunity. We'll take a small break, chat. Just give us one quick moment. Okay, so Lord Executioner. Nathan, he's just a combat dude. Start the combat, pick 1 unit within 3 inches, and then -1 to wound. He's 150 points. You're never going to take him because he's kind of like a solo character that doesn't integrate with any other part of the army, if that makes sense.
Sorry, say it again. Distracted.
It's okay. We'll ignore the Lord Executioner. Next up.
Was he a douche?
Oh no, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Let me. I'll go back and show you. Like, so he's got a 4-up save, 5-up ward. Says on the screen. Yeah. And he's got 5 attacks. But like, he doesn't do anything, right?
Right. Oh, okay. He's got no unique stuff on his scroll. He's just a hero if you need a hero.
Yeah, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing him be damage 3. Like, I suppose you could always Arcane Tome Flaming Weapons in, but I wouldn't mind seeing him being like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind there being like an assassin/fighter. I guess we call it a brawler role. He's just there to fight. Yeah, doesn't do anything else. Doesn't integrate. Just plug and play. But I don't think he really stands up as a brawler. So there you go. I'm not going to take him. Like, so I wouldn't take him. Right. So Guardian of Souls is 150 points and is a wizard. Yeah, 5 wounds, flies. It's got some attacks, damage 2, 5 attacks. Right, so he's got a +1 to wound for Nighthaunt units wholly within 12 inches in melee. A +1 to wound aura.
That's just an aura. It's not a spell or anything.
Just an aura, baby.
What? Okay, that's really good. That's super good.
Right. So,
nice.
Stonks, right? And then he's got a spell, because he's a wizard, obviously. Cast 1 spell. Cast on 6, it's got 24-inch range. You heal D6 or return D6 worth of slain models to a summonable unit, right?
Nice. Yeah.
Like, then that's lush, right? Like, that's good.
Yeah, like, he's great. 150 points.
Yeah, same as the last guy, buddy.
I thought the other guy didn't do anything. This guy does these two things.
Right? Just like this guy's the guy, right? Because you got the so you got the +1 to wound aura, the -1 to wound aura, the -1 damage. Yeah, they are the same cost. They are Andy Davo. Can I just shout out to Andy in the chat? He's one of my Blood Bowl bros now. That's right, I'm a Blood Bowl guy. Yeah, shout out to Andy in the chat.
So
Lovely.
they're both 150 points.
Yeah.
One does something and the other one does nothing.
This one does loads. He's also a wizard. Yeah.
Does something really useful. Does two things really useful.
Yeah, agreed.
The other guy does bugger all.
Right, so there you go. Can you still? So that's the Guardian of Souls. I think you're going to put Guardian of Souls in lots of lists. +1 to wound aura for all. That's just fucking dumb, right? Okay, it only moves 8 inches though, so he's going to struggle to keep up with some of the units, I guess. Then you got the Knight of Shrouds, mate.
It's that much teleporting. It doesn't matter.
Just fucking teleport all of them, right? Right. Oh, anyway. So you got the Knight of Shrouds. You move 8 inches, he flies. He's 135 points, right, Nath? Or you can pay 20 points to upgrade him to being on a steed. Okay? The one on the steed moves 12 inches and has got 6 wounds. This guy's got 5 wounds. And he's got an end of the combat. If you slay any models with the sword that this guy's got, special sword, and this is true for both models, you add 1 to its wounds characteristic and you heal a wound. Right, so this guy heals a wound. So you could end up with this guy having like +5 wounds. No, +10 wounds, right? Which is pretty cool. I love that. And you've got once per battle round, you can issue redeploy all out unleash hell, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know. It's just some bad writing for me. For free. So you can do a free redeploy or a free unleash hell on with your Knight of Shrouds. However, and he also fights simultaneous with a Nighthaunt summonable unit. The Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, which is 20 points extra, 155 points, he has a once per battle round issue all-out attack for free, so +1 to hit. So he's 155 points, and he also fights simultaneous. I guess he's a fast character, but I don't see you guys taking this for 150 points when the Guardian of Souls there, or fucking Boaty McBoatface is just running around, just having the best time. To be honest. So.
Yeah, I mean it depends on how pushed you are for points. I mean basically you're getting 5 free command points, aren't you, with these guys?
Yeah. And he also fighting for place with the Dreadblade Harrow, who is obviously dropping points. So ambiguous pair makes a good point. So that's the Knight Shrouds. We've done the Dreadblade Harrow, who's going to do all the extra commander points. Then we've got the Tomb Banshee, right? 115 points for a lady that's on a square base, right? She's okay in a fight, like nothing to really. She's got 5 wounds with 4-up save. Like whatever, and at the start of your charge phase, if you can choose 1 enemy unit within 12 inches on a 4+, they must spend +1 CP if they want to do a command ability, right? So if you wanted to charge a unit, right, so you could kind of do a really interesting double with a Linda and the Tomb Banshee. So if you have the Tomb Banshee, right, and let's say and you charge her into a unit that wants to all out, to stand and shoot. Then they've got to spend 2 CP to do the command ability, and then if a Linda rolls a 5-up, they won't have even done it.
Yeah, they'll have spent 2 CP to do nothing.
Yeah, right? Which is interesting.
How many points is this?
115.
115.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, interesting to see.
Right? Like, I think it's at least
actually writing lists if they've got the points spare. I mean, they're decent enough heroes, the last 2, but it's just how pushed for points you'll be, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fantastic, is all I'm going to say. Right? Yeah. So then I think it's fun. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, they've done quite well with a lot of the characters to really, like, there's a lot of stackable buffs and debuffs, but there's also a lot of interaction. Like Nighthaunt going from like what was a techie army because it was old and badly written to an intentionally techie army with like you're just changing points. A bit was like Soulblight Gravelords. They're very techie. It's kind of interesting that Death has become super techie. Like you've got loads of overlapping buffs that you can do in a Soulblight Gravelords army, and it's the same in this Nighthaunt book. There's loads of plays. You could go to a tournament and change 2 characters around, and your army will change completely differently. and it will be really fun. And I think that that's fucking cool, personally. So anyway, and then also, if it's a 4+, by the way, for them to spend that +1 CP, but if they're terrified, then it's a 3+. You get +1 to that, right? So loving that, loving that. You got Cairn Wraith, who's a 115-point character. He's got a sword, or a big scythe, actually, whose attacks are equal to the number of models within 3 inches of this model. I feel like they just can't not sell this guy, but also they're like, I'm not going to give him any rules. So he's 150 points and he's in the list. Okay, Nathan, it's the fucking time. It's Black Coach, baby. Okay.
Oh yeah, that old potato.
Yeah. Right. So 335 points and a totem. Right. It does fly. It moves 10 inches and it's got 12 wounds with a 4-up ethereal save. Right. And it's also got a 5-up ward. Right.
Cool.
Okay. Right. The big, beautiful potato that it is. Right. It's got a 5-up ward. Right. Now, its attacks profile, I couldn't be asked to write them all down. It's got like 5 attacks, which are like damage to Rend 2. Right.
Oh, okay.
And then it's got 17 attacks. Like there's like a 9 and an 8, and I think that the 9 attacks are Rend 1 and the 8 attacks don't have any Rend, but they all hit on 4s. Right, so you're gonna be like, I'm gonna roll these 9 dice. Okay, these are Rend 1. Okay, I've all got. Sorry, they're all hit on 4s, and I've wasted everyone's time. But I guess if you get any 6s, they auto wound, and they've got no Rend. So whatever. But you can like, I don't know what the math is, but it's okay. It's output, but it's not scary. But it'll fight 10-man units. Do you know what I mean? You'll be like, cool.
Yeah. It'll do some damage.
Yeah. Anyway, now this is the way it works. Not a hero. This guy. So he generates energy from slain models. So there's no longer, you don't roll dice to level up your Black Coach, but your Black Coach does level up. Starts at level 1. You put a dice next to it, right? Starts at level 1, and then if any models within 12 inches are slain, it basically levels up. Okay. Right? Up to level 6. 6 is your maximum.
Yeah.
Right? And if you get to 5 or 6, then you're going to get a 4-up ward on this bad boy. So 12 wounds with a 4-up save and a 4-up ward. Not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So how many dudes have to have died for it to get to that level? Five or 6 dudes?
Yeah, so it's slain or flee within 12 inches. Yeah? Right?
And
so
it goes up a level each time one model slays or flees.
Yeah. Pretty good, right? Maybe you have to roll dice. I can't remember. I don't think you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't think you do. Right?
Yeah.
And then if it's a 6, so if your level's on a 6, right, then in your shooting phase, it's obviously enemy models. If it's a 6 in your shooting phase, you can unleash it all on a unit in 12 inches. Right?
Oh, okay. Unleash all your levels. Yeah.
Yeah. And on a 2+, they get 3d3 mortal wounds.
What?
Right? Fucking boom. Boom, boom. Yeah? Okay.
That's it. I'm playing Sons of Beermat.
Nathan, you play Sons of Beermat, you're going to charge by 3 Nighthaunt units. You're going to be -1 save, fight last, and you're going to be -1 to hit. You're like, this fucking sucks. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's really fun, and it gives you something. It gives you something that you get to do in the shooting phase with this unit and army, right? And then can teleport. Now this is really interesting. It also can teleport instead of move and retreat.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it can, instead of retreat, it can teleport. Instead of move, it can teleport. And obviously, you have to set up outside of 9 inches. Obviously, right? So it's got that as an ability as well. So it's got run and charge or teleport the fuck away and charge.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
and
teleporter.
Then teleport and charge, right? Which is nuts. And then, and 1 inch of objectives, thank you, or terrain sometimes. And it also does impact hits on a 2+, it does D3 mortal wounds, right? So, like...
That's an interesting little piece. And it's a totem, so it can do command abilities at 18 inches.
Nathan, everything's a fucking totem in this book. Like, they just love totems. Love a totem. Yeah. So, that's the Black Coach. And I think it's... I don't know. Like... I think it's interesting. Like, definitely. And considering it used to be a full potato, and now it's like, I don't know, potato, beans, and coleslaw.
Potato.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's upgraded to a full meal, but still, like, I probably shouldn't have eaten that. Like, yeah, like, I think that's really fun. So that's the Black Coach. Okay, so time to talk about some units, finally, Nathan. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah, them old units.
Yeah. So you've got Chain Rasps. Move 8 inches, fly, right? And they're 100, and they're units of 10, right?
Yeah.
110 points for units of 10. 110 points for units of 10. One wound, but a 5-up save, baby.
Yeah.
We did it. We got him to a 5-up save.
Yeah.
Right?
Ethereal save. Yeah.
And obviously you can have a 6-up ward or a 5-up ward. So that's pretty good. Bravery 8. They're the only unit that's Bravery 8, Nathan. Everyone else Bravery 10.
Oh, wow. We're so scared.
Yeah, baby. Right? Yeah, no. The unit champ's got +1 melee attack, and they've got 2 attacks per dude, obviously. 1-inch range, 4s and 4s, but rend 1, damage 1. Which is quite nice. That rend 1 might be wrong. In fact, actually, did I copy that across wrong? I probably did. Let me double check. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they do, but it doesn't matter. I don't know where it is.
Yeah. So 2 attacks each, you said.
2 attacks each, baby. Where are they? Oh, there they are. No rend. So I've annotated that wrong. Sorry, chat. 1 second. This is the problem with having just done it today. But I was at Blood Bowl all weekend, so what can I say? What can I tell you? Yeah. And it's a whole book, right? So but they get +1 to wound if this unit charged that turn, right? So you wouldn't have to give them the +1 to wound aura. So it'd be 4s and 3s, and obviously you get 3s and 3s with all-out attack if you wanted. Yeah. Not bad.
6s automatically go through. You can reduce their armor save if you've rolled big charges somewhere along the line. So yeah,
not bad. I don't think. I don't think. Okay, and their battle line. Obviously, their battle line. Then you've got Mimron Banshees, Nathan, right? Now, these are move 8 inches, they fly, units of 4, weird as shit. Okay. They're 105 points, and they're elite. Basically, if it's not a totem in this book, it's also elite, right? They're a wound apiece with a 4-up save, yeah? And they're 2 attacks each, 1-inch range, 4s and 3s, rend 2, damage 2. And if they get +1 attack if they charge that turn, and they've got an ability. Now, unfortunately, because this is all leaks, they've got an ability which is unreadable by man. Yeah? Like, the person who took the picture did the most potato job they've ever done. But this is what my investigative reporters have decided it is. Okay?
Okay.
Right? You can roll. Yeah, you can roll 2d6 each time an enemy wizard successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, and choose for the effect of that spell to apply to a unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Or when an end of spell finishes a move within 12 inches of this unit, add 1 to the roll if this unit has 3 or more models. If the roll is greater than the casting value for the spell or end of spell, that spell is unbound before it has any effect of that end of spell is dispelled. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, like,
so
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Interesting play. So, but they're how many points again for 4?
They're 105 points for 4.
For 4, but they've only got 1 wound each. Did you say?
Only 1 wound each. Yeah. Yeah. But
so they're quite a fragile unit, but they pack a punch, don't they?
Yeah, they're really good. But and also what's important, they're punchy. They've always been really punchy. Yeah, and rules as written, as Speed Demon Painter is saying, not that it's difficult to read. But yeah, you can roll 2d6 each time an enemy wizard successfully casts a spell that was not unbound. So then, if you had 4 units of Mimron Banshees, you could roll it 4 times.
Oh wow!
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the Mimron Banshees. So there we go. They're interesting
unit.
Very interesting unit to make it's interesting to have anti-magic, not an allegiance ability, but built into the War Scroll. I really like that. I think that's fun. Yeah. Right, Bladegeist Revenants, Nathan. Yeah? We've already talked about these, yeah? Because people are going to take shit tons of them, right?
Yeah.
Is it these ones they're taking? I think they're taking this one, yeah. This is the one in the sub-faction that works, okay?
Yeah.
Move 8, fly, units of 10, so they come in 10s, 175 points, and they're elite. Yeah, 1 wound each, and they're 4 up save, and they're bravery 10. But they got 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1, and +1 attack if they charged. Okay, so they're fine. Okay, they're expensive, but they're good. They're a good fighting unit. They're fast as well. Dreadside Harridans, right? So this is I think actually the one that everyone's hype about. They move 8 inches, they fly, and they come in units of 10.
Yeah.
And they're 160 points for 10.
Okay.
Right, a wound each with a 4 up save.
Yeah.
And then 4 attacks per 1.
Wow.
Right,
Okay.
in units of 10. 4s and 4s, no rend damage 1. +1 to hit and wound if an enemy unit within 6 inches is wounded or has lost a model that turn.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With
So, good chance of being 3s and 3s then.
really good chance of being 3s and 3s.
Yeah.
And then
No rend, though, did you say?
no rend.
No rend. But that can be sorted with their charging, hopefully.
Yeah. And then -1 to wound this unit. So this unit is -1 to be wounded for units within 3 inches if it made a charge move this turn. So when they charge in, right, they are -1 to be wounded. And like Call Me Quinn says in the chat, obviously you can have these as battle line in the sub-faction where you can ignore ward saves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could go pretty ham with these, and it's 4 attacks apiece. So 40 attacks, 41 attacks coming out of 10 of 160 dudes. Well, dead dudettes, actually, technically, I guess.
Yeah, 160 point unit. Nice.
Interesting, right?
Another interesting. Yeah, you could build lists around them probably.
Yeah.
Especially in that sub-faction. Yeah.
I think this is really cool, personally. And then you got the Craven Throne Guard, so the crossbows. Boo, boo, boo.
Oh, yes.
Boo, boo.
Yeah.
This is how they shoot. Boo, boo, boo. Boo. Boo, boo, boo. Boo. Anyway, they're 115 points for 5. They got 1 wound each with a 4 up save. The unit champ has +1 melee attack, which is weird. It's just super weird, right? But their banner, Nathan, is rally on a 5 up. Oh, it might be a 4 up. I think I've written that down wrong. It might be a 5 up or a 4 up, one of the two, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. But their banner basically gives them a better rally.
Extra rally.
Extra rally, yeah. And then they've got 2 attacks. Their shooting attack is 2 attacks, 12-inch range, 4s and 4s, rend 1, damage 1, right? And then they've got 1 attack each in melee, right? But they ignore line of sight blocking, so you don't need line of sight to shoot them, and they ignore cover. But I hate them, so.
Okay, then. Fair enough. I mean, 4s and 4s is pretty rough.
But you pay for 10 attacks, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of these, right? I think these are a big, as Weird Knob says in the chat, shout out to my bro from down south. Big love to you. Yeah, this sucks, in my opinion. Right, Spirit Torment. How are we doing? We're doing pretty good. Sorry, Nath.
That's good.
So Spirit Torment is actually a hero, right? And it comes in the box with the chain ghasts, so it's an odd packaging, basically.
All right, then. Yeah.
Okay. And this is, to let you know, 5 wounds with a 4 up save, bravery 10. He's got 3 attacks in combat, which is 3s and 3s, rend 2, damage 2. However, this unit can heal or return D3 slain models to a Nighthaunt summonable unit wholly within 12 inches when, I need to double check this, just so I can get this right. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick 1 friendly Nighthaunt summonable unit wholly within 12 inches, and you can either heal 3 wounds allocated or you can return 3 slain models. That's the Spirit Torment. So it's flat 3.
Okay. Flat 3 as well.
I think it's flat 3. Yeah, it is flat 3.
Bad.
I don't know why I wrote down D3, so that's wrong. Let me change that. So it's flat 3, which is good. Pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah.
For 115 points, just to be like 3 back, 3 back, 3 back, or heal 3. Don't forget, if you mix this with a Linda, right, you can be bringing
D6
models back.
And then 3, yeah.
And it's at the end of the combat phase. So it's 6 per battle round.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Everybody's combat phase. Yeah. Good.
Which is great, I think. Do you not think?
Yeah. Good for multi-wound dudes. I assume are the spirits, spirit hosts and things like that. They're summonable. So
Yeah,
you could do
baby. Yeah,
those,
anything apart from the Black Coach. All right? All the characters. So chain gas, Nathan, are the units that you get along with the whatever the bloody hell the other model was called a second ago. The Spirit Torment. Flies, obviously. 95 points and is elite. They all are. Now it's 2 wounds and it comes in units of 2. Units of 2! For 95 points. So you get 4 wounds on a 4-up save for 95 points. And then they've got 2 attacks, which are shooting attacks, which I just don't understand. They like throw their chains 15 inches, like this is such such an odd release. They're like, well, do you want this unit of 4? Do you want this unit of 4? I'm like, I don't want any units of 4. You weird. But anyway, it doesn't matter. 4s and 3s, Ren 2, damage 1. And then they've got 2 attacks with the same profile in combat, because they use the same things in combat. No. And they've got +1 to hit for friendly Nighthaunt units holding within 12 inches of this unit, while a friendly Spirit of Torment is on the board. So you can get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. So if you have the chain gas and you have the Spirit Torment and the Spectral Lure, you can be like +1 to wound, healing, +1 to hit, on your whole army.
Yeah, quite a complex army to play with, especially if you start using all the different little units to do all the different little buffs. But
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, and when you buy them, you buy a Spirit Torment and 2 chain gas as a box. So that's how they come. So it's a unit of it's a box of 3 models, basically. But yeah, +1 to hit is really good. And the only thing that has to happen is the Spirit Torment has to be on the board. So it's kind of an interesting support unit. Right, the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. They're elite. They move 8 inches. They fly. They've got a wound each. And a 4-up save, so it's units of 4. So units of 4 for the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. So 105 points for 4 wounds with and 4 models. They've got 1 attack each. 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1. Might be 2 attacks actually. And then +1. They've got +1 to charge rolls. Okay. Now this is because they're musician. Now this is where it gets really, really cool. Pick 1 unit to be prey at the beginning of the battle, and if you finish your move close, so basically I deploy, and then I go, that's my prey, and then I move my models closer. All I have to do is move my models, my Glaive Wraith Stalkers closer
towards them.
I get +3 to charge.
Oh, not just that unit, just +3 to charge anywhere.
Well, no, +3 to charge. Right.
But they've only got 2 attacks each, did you say?
No, I feel like I can't have got that right, because 1 attack is super shit. No, it is 1 attack each. 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1.
Do we want them to have +3 to charge? I mean,
well, so because the only thing I was thinking is like DD Martin said in the chat, you kind of want to ping that fight last effect, but this doesn't change anything. Oh no, they are damage 2. They're not damage 1, Nathan. I got it wrong. They're damage 2. So you're gonna get 4 attacks that are damage 2 for 105 points.
4s and 3s. Okay. I mean, does the +3? So if I have +3 to my charge roll, does that mean I'm going to be rolling 9s then more, or 8s and 9s more regularly?
No, because the Wave of Terror is unmodified. The battle trait is unmodified. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Can we just put them in the bin? Can we? Reckon.
I reckon I'd be.
Let's throw them in the bin.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yeah, let's get rid of them. Right.
I don't see it.
So Spirit Hosts. Okay. They move 8 inches. They're units of 3. You're gonna be surprised by this, but they fly. They're an elite unit. And also battle line, somehow. Battle line, but also elite. And they're 125 points, right? So units of 3, and they've got 3 wounds each with a 4-up save. Okay?
Yeah.
And now they've got 6 attacks in close combat each, so you're going to be getting 18 attacks out of these guys, right? 1 each range, but 4s and 4s, no rend, damage 1, right?
Yeah.
but they're bodyguards for Nighthaunt units within 3 inches, right? So they basically will take wounds for Nighthaunt units within 3 inches, and that wound cannot be negated, right? But this is where you can get super fucky, because obviously Alinda's like 7 wounds with a 4-up, 4-up, yeah? But you can just bodyguard off. I think it's on a 3-up to the spirit hosts, and then when they're all dead or close to dead, Alinda just like pops her casket or whatever it's called, and it's just like, I'm gonna get D6 these motherfuckers back. Infinite Alinda is what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So you know how we talked about that little set of buff characters that we would maybe want to have that would support our army really well. Just have some spirit hosts nearby. 125 points for a unit of 3, and they're going to tank for those guys really well.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the bodyguard units thing seems to be a more common thing in all the armies. So yeah. That's their version of it.
Yep. So then,
obviously, they've lost their mortal wounds that they used to have. Then
they have because obviously that would happen on 6s to hit, but now they auto wound, right? Which I don't know. Like it's 18 attacks for 3 of them for 125 points. Feels like okay. They're also 40 mil bases. Don't think they're 50s, so you can do some nice move blocking with them, which is good. And I think is really fun. Being battle line obviously makes building your army really useful because you're going to take your characters. This is your battle line supporting your characters. Thanks, Quinn. So they're 50s, right? So you've got some. You could even screen block physically your heroes as well, which is dope. Yeah. And you could have take a unit of 9, like if you wanted, rally the fuck out of them, have a great time. Right. So then you got Hex Wraiths. So they move 12 inches. So this is your last unit. I think this is our last unit. Move 12 inches. They fly. The units are 5. So you're going to get 5 of them. They're 2 wounds apiece with a 4-up save. So you're going to get 10 wounds for 160 points. Now, they get +1 attack on their unit champ. They've got 2 attacks for the rider. 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1. But obviously they've lost mortals, which is a shame. They've also lost mortals when they move over stuff, which I think is a bit wank. Which was such a cool thing, like that kind of ghost ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But they do have a new ability, which is double move at the start of the movement phase. So they can move twice, and they move 12 inches. So that's a 24-inch move. But they can't charge after.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right? Yeah. So, they've got this kind of, weird duality to them as a unit, where they can charge... so they can move super fast, but then they can't charge. So you're kind of okay, I'm not really sure what the point of view is. However, they do D3 mortal wounds on a 2-up to 1 unit within 3 inches when they charge, basically. So they have impact hits of D3 mortal wounds. So I don't think there's tons to write home about for this unit, to be honest. I mean, they're fast, which is good, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about these guys.
Yeah, they don't do a load of damage, do they?
No.
They're not overly tanky either, really.
No. Right. They are summonable.
They're just a fast unit that, I guess...
Yeah, and I mean, they can hold people up. Jantira in the chat is saying, obviously, you just slap that 5-up ward on them, use them as a little bump screen if you wanted, while you're kind of slower bits of your army. You could womp them up 24 inches, move block with them really well. Yeah, because obviously it's a cavalry base, so you can screen them out in a line, and then just give them a 5-up ward and just be like, they've got bravery 10, so you're in a great spot.
I guess you could run a couple of units up. They could both go 24 inches and just pin your army into a corner if that's how they've deployed, or pin your army into their deployment zone so that they have to clear those screens, give yourself an extra turn to set yourself up. So,
and that's it. And that's the army, right? So that's everything. I haven't done my final thoughts on the Nighthaunt, and I think going through it with you guys is kind of, and chat, it's your time to have your say. It feels strong, but I keep wondering. It's not that I don't think there's no damage. I definitely think there's damage, but there's not 9 Storm Fiends and more warp power sort of damage. Do you know what I mean? It's in a bunch of different places. But I think there's so many overlapping debuffs, movement shenanigans, and counterplays that, Thorns of the Briar Queen, I haven't done the Briar Queen. Sorry. I'll quickly do the Briar Queen. I haven't put it on the screen because I only just got it. Shout out to Gary for this. So the Briar Queen's a wizard. Just FYI. Obviously, you can do a spell. Howling Vortex is cast on a 7, a range of 18 inches. Successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within range, invisible to the caster, then roll 2d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of that point. If the roll is greater than the unit's unmodified move characteristic, or the roll is double, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and its move characteristic is halved. So you've got a half move characteristic from the Briar Queen. And then before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this unit, instead of making a ward roll for that, you can allocate it to the Thorns of the Briar Queen. And the Thorns of the Briar Queen will set you back, I can't remember, some amount of points. I can't remember. But yeah, anyway. So what are your thoughts, Nath?
Another wee wizard. Yeah. I think we're going to be seeing quite a few more Nighthaunt out there on the tournament circuits, and yeah, I think people will be able to get some mileage out of it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very, very strong. I think if everything goes well for the Nighthaunt player, then the people... Yeah. I think the people playing against it are going to have some major issues, personally. The Scriptum Mortis does what the Scriptum Mortis did before. Like, just to remind everyone, it dooms a person and you take some mortal wounds. You're never going to take a Scriptum Mortis, in my opinion. Maybe in the Emerald Host, where you're already doing mortal wounds, but I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. I think it's fighty, fast, shenanigans. You can write loads of different lists.
Yeah. The shenanigans thing, yeah, I think it feels like it might be a fairly complex book to play with. Like, there's lots of little buffs and debuffs and things that you get.
Oh, I just lost you there, Nath.
I
lost you there, bud. So what did you say?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
I was just saying it looks like a fairly complex book to play. Like, lots of little buffs, debuffs, things to keep an eye on. So, yeah, it's not like a straightforward book, but those things that it's got are all useful and will give it power.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how this relates to the new General's Handbook, which can't be that far out now. Like, is this written more for that? Because obviously there's no monsters in a Nighthaunt book.
Yep.
So they've struggled with our last one, the Season of Monsters. So yeah, we'll see how this interacts with that as well.
Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't really thought about the fact that there's very few monsters. Well, there's no monsters other than the Gash. I think also if you're doing the Gash, you're doing in the Gash list, so it kind of changes. It changes up specifically. There's also their battle tactics and their other stuff to go through, but that's going to be more in a more condensed video to talk about, because I don't think there's really much to ever talk about that. You just be like, oh, they've got battle tactics, cool. I think ultimately, like, from a power level, but also from a gaming level, I'm actually really excited about this book, because it feels like there's at least someone in there who is coming up with some fun stuff. I still think that I could do with a couple more rules on different war scrolls. Like Kurdos would have been one. The Lord Executioner, another one. I would have liked. I get that they're trying to get. They're
definitely a couple of misses in there where that war scroll is priced exactly the same as the other one, and it's got an empty war scroll, whereas the other one's got 2 abilities. I mean, that's 3 rules that somebody's getting.
Yeah, and I think the Hex Wraiths are a miss. I get that Hex Wraiths you could use as a screen, but I really don't like my values when I value like units. Really, I always want something to do something, and I guess a double move is maybe you could go capture a unit or something. But I'm a bit sad that they lost the ability to grab an objective, the ability to run through stuff, which I thought was very themey. But other than that, I think the actual like core toolkit of the army has got lots and lots of really fun themey stuff. You're like, oh, you're terrified. Oh, that unit's terrified. Oh, because it's terrified to get this extra thing. You know, like, I think that's really fun. I mean, that's huge. Like, yeah. I think we kind of skipped it, but you get no battle shock test against this army in melee is mental.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, not Battleshock test. Sorry, not no Battleshock test. You get no inspiring presence. Sorry, against this army. Like, it's crazy. And you're never pinning a unit down. They've got fly. Like, nuts. Like, I just think I think it's great. I think it's a really good book. I think it's going to be really strong. But also, and excitingly, there's someone, until this book, I didn't think that there was anyone in the rules department that was trying to create something fun for people like me that want to do a bunch of different shit, even if that shit doesn't really turn into anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think there's definitely a challenge in playing this book. I think because you've got so many tools you can do, and they're all I think they're all fairly subtle. It's not like a dragon's flying over and just toasting something, but I think there's a lot of play in this.
Loads, right? Loads.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see like how this would compete against the dragon and long strike list and stuff like that. I think, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Chat seems to be really confident about it. We also know that there's loads and loads of Nighthaunt out there in the world, like I said, or there's loads available, right? Like loads available out there, which I think is really exciting. How does Stormcast do against it? No problem, baby. You just take 15 Judicators with Hurricane crossbows and just delete Nighthaunt units like they're going out of fashion. That's the other thing as well. Like that 4-up save is going to be like that 4-up unrenderable save on most of the army is going to be amazing and heart-wrenching. There's definitely that game where the Nighthaunt player is like 4-up, 4-up, 4-up. Oh, you ran 3, 4-up, 4-up all day. Yeah. And there's also that game when they roll a ton and it's just like there's none, and it just everything dies, right? And I think that's going to be really fascinating as well, like that element, because I think this game is this army is also a really dicey army because there's going to be some amazing shit and some terrible shit based on those dice, which I think is really exceptional. So I'm super excited. Nathan, thanks for staying with me so long on this show. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you. It's been interesting. I look forward to seeing. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I look forward to playing against these now. I guess people can start playing with these rules. They're out.
They're out. They're out.
So interesting to see what the Daughters of Cain, because they're the ones coming out with this on.
Yeah, they're ones coming out. So we're hoping to.
If it's similar strength to this, then they're going to also be a handful, aren't they?
Well, it's interesting because I do wonder, like, I don't have any time. I would love to go back later in the week, but I've got an event this weekend. I've got world stuff tomorrow. Like, I don't have any time for that. But like, it would be really good to go back and look at some of those first Battletomes. Just kind of like, maybe we'll do it at the end of the year. Maybe we'll do it at the end of the year, and we'll see if there's any kind of like design decisions that are slightly different. Because the one that's interesting to me is there's quite a few just within 12s. Not wholly within 12s. Like a lot of the Stormcast, like most of the stuff here. There's a good interaction between within 12 and wholly within 12. Yeah. Like there's some really good, like some good understanding of those two things. I know you people at home might be like, what the fuck? It doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does matter. Like that's actually really important. Knowing that the enemy unit is within 12, but the friendly unit has to be wholly within 12 is actually really good because. Like, whereas if the enemy unit has to be wholly within 12, it fucking sucks. Like, that's a much worse ability that doesn't work in the hero phase. Yeah. So actually, that writing that's in there was quite good in this, and I quite enjoyed it. And I think ultimately it feels really themey. I ended up being excited at the end of this book, which wasn't what I was expecting going in. And that means good game design from the people writing it, which is fun. So yeah, and if ghosts end up being bent as hell, like as in way too good, I think that's fine. They deserve their time to shine, don't they? It's been 4 years. Yeah. Like, it's been 4 years. All right, if you've been listening to this live on Twitch, my love to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening to back as a podcast, thank you very much. Please stay hydrated, Hydro Homies. And if you are watching us back on YouTube, please leave some comments, like, and subscribe. Only 20% of the people who watch our content actually subscribe, Nathan. So it'd be great if the other 80% could subscribe. That would be cool. And then thank you to everyone on the honest-wargamer Patreon. Couldn't do it without you. You guys are best.